Hi friends, let's see the app we are going to develop in the next couple of lessons. When you run this app, this is the main option screen. You will see a menu which is on a table view. So I can click on say employee options, then it will load this data, and all the employee data are loaded dynamically from a data source, right? And then I can click on employee, and then it's dynamically changing this page with that particular employee and the projects. If I go back and click another employee, you can see the same page is dynamically changing with that employee and the projects, which are all loaded dynamically. The images are also loaded dynamically from a data source, right? So it's different images loaded dynamically. And then I can delete employees. Let's say I can swipe and say delete, then it deletes the data, right? If not, I can click on edit and say if I want to delete something, click on this and click delete, right? And when I'm done, I can say done, right? And then further I can insert data dynamically. Let us say a section P and say Peter, for example, and click OK. So it all gets added dynamically, right? Then once I'm done with employees, I can go scroll down, right? And then I can go into department options, right? So department, and do the same thing for department, right? But it's very important that you have to make sure to look at the next couple of lectures in this on table views, that is part 1, 2, 3, etc., until we complete this app. It explains all the theory and the practical knowledge which you need to know about developing this app, right? Okay friends, we are very excited to show you how to develop this app practically, and let's do it now. Okay friends, so the following is the outcome of this part of the lesson. When you complete this part of the lesson, your app will look like this until you complete the other parts of the lesson. It will have a menu, right, which is created using static table views, and we have added images. Click on detail, then we are displaying a list of employees, right? Again, the icons, images displayed, and then you can dig detail into that particular employee and see the details, right? Likewise, and you can go back and then click on the department options, which is also like a prototype template, right? But make sure to go and look at the next lessons after you complete this lesson in order to complete the full app demonstrated earlier. Okay, so the lesson we are going to discuss is table views, lesson 1b, table view controller with static content, and continuation of lesson 1a, right? So it's important, guys. It's a continuation of lesson 1a on table views. Sorry. Tools used in this lecture: we'll be using Xcode version 11.4.1 for practicals and Apple Developer Docs for referencing. Okay, guys? Awesome. And then prerequisite. So you have to look at the following previous lessons on table views in this channel, that is table views lesson 1a. Also, you have better look at some of the previous basic lessons on Objective-C in this channel. In this channel, you will learn, in this session, you will learn continue to learn more about table view controllers, right? And then using table view controllers to display a menu of choice, which you did in the last lesson also. And navigating, we'll be expanding that. You'll be learning new about table view, adding sections, adding further styles, adding images, and navigating into detailed screens, right? And sections in table views, as I said earlier, and the practical code examples. Okay, and let's go for lesson. Okay, so let's now lesson plan is we'll be taking a copy of the previous lesson, right, which is the lesson 1a. So I'm going to make a copy of it, guys. Control C, Control V, important, right? And then I'm going to modify it. Okay, so this is going to be lesson 1b, guys, right? Okay. Sorry, lesson 1b, and let's open this in Xcode, right? So let's say go to Xcode and say file open, right? Let's open the project, right? So let's go to table views, lesson 1, lesson 1b, guys. Awesome, right? This is the project we want to change, right? So it's a copy of the previous one. So what I'm going to do is, guys, I'm going to modify the name just here, lesson 1b, right? Just rename it. Awesome. And first things first, we need to see whether it compiles and runs from where we stopped in the previous lesson. Okay, my friends, right? So let's make sure that we check the overall outlook. Yeah, it looks fine. Let's build the product, right? Let's build. Let's see whether it's all good after getting a copy. all looks fine. Let's run it. Okay guys, let's run it. Okay, so you see what we have done earlier. Awesome, right? Okay, good. Now let's add something to this, guys, right? So first thing we are going to add is, let's say that you want to add further styles, right? Let's start with that, right? So I'm going to click right on this and say click on the cell, and make sure that you are clicking the content cell and the view, right? So let's expand it from here, the table cell actually. So see, once again, so when I click from here, it selected the content view, right? But my interest was not the content view, my interest was the table view, the cell, right? The table view cell. That is why I recommend you sometimes not to click here, right? To directly click the document hierarchy, right? I recommend you to click the document hierarchy so that you don't do that mistake, right? So now I exactly know, I clicked, look at my mouse, I know that I clicked on the table view cell, guys, right? Awesome, right? So now let's do some changes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, okay, I have clicked on the table cell. So the style, it's basic, right? How about we adding some different style? Let us say write detail, right? So when I say write detail, see what happens in the document hierarchy over here in the document explorer. So when I click write detail, see it got added another label called detail, right? So if I want, I can go and change the text of this by clicking, but I'm not going to change. I prefer to keep it like so that the user understands that he can click here and get more details, right? Awesome, right? So I'm going to click the next table view cell and do the same thing, right? So we're adding more styles, right? Right detail, right? Awesome. And the next thing I would like to do is I would like to add an image like an icon, right? So what I can do is I can click on once again the cell and I can click on the image property, and let us say I can use some of the system icons which suits, let us say, which suits my operations. Let's say something like this. Up to you to select the suitable icon. Let's say I select let's click something else, right? So make sure to select something suitable, right, which reflects what you want to perform, right? Something which reflects what you want to perform. So let's do the same thing for the second table view cell. Just make sure, click by here, you click on image, right? And just say you click something like this, right? Awesome, right? So now you know how to add some icons as well, right? It looks good, guys. It looks good, right? Now let's go and do further changes, right? So let's say that the next thing I want to do is add some sections, right? Like similar, some interface similar to this. Let's say there are employees and I want to categorize them based on their first name, starting letter of the first name, right? So that's a section, right? So let's do it now, right? So what I should do is, then I should think of adding another table view controller, right? Isn't it? I can add another table view controller so that when I click on the employee options, instead of loading this screen over here, I can now load another table view controller just to give that behavior, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a another table view controller, right? So let's say table view controller, guys. So let's add that. Let's keep it here, right? And what I'm going to do is, instead of this, I want to put this table view controller here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on let's say I'm going to click on this storyboard segue and delete it, right? Just delete it, right? Just click on the delete button. Awesome. And then let's say I want to delete this as well, remove the connections, and then what I want to do is just take this away and put this here, right, in place. I can just keep it aside. It will not be used now, right? Awesome, right? And then next thing is, let's immediately create no, let's create the segues little. Now let's do whatever required for the second table view controller. So what I want to do, guys, is, let's say I want to add some sections to start with, right? So let's click on this. So now I know it's this, and let's click on the table view, right? I got the controller, right? And I got the inside the controller I got the table view. Let's start by assigning to the table view static cells. So keep in mind, we will be doing dynamic data after this lesson, right? So make sure you look at those other lessons after this about dynamic data, right? Especially how to retrieve data from a database and fill, for example, right? Look at our other videos on that, right? So you can connect to a database and load the data into a table view, right? That's what I said, right? Look at that in a future video. So static cells, as usual, you make it static. And sections, immediately you can see the number of sections is 1. So what I want to do is I'm going to add, and also look at what's happening here, right? When you do it, look at the document explorer. So say if I want, say 3 sections, I'm giving example, right? Say 3 sections, you can have more. Now at the moment I'm giving the sections manually, right? I am telling 3, right? But in a real application, you can get it, you can make the sections dynamic, right? Depending on the data you want to display. So depending on your data, depending on your data model, right? Depending on whether the data comes from a database, if it's dynamic, then you can programmatically create the number of sections. Let us say in my database, let us say it has only employees under 5 letters. Let us say letter A, first name, based on the first name, say Anne, right? And then say for C, Colin, and let us say I got John for J and few. So I don't know, like, but I can do a dynamic calculation and find how many sections do I need to have. Then I can dynamically change these sections using code. So once again, for that, look at our next videos in this about table view controllers. We will show you how to do it, right? After this. Okay, so for now I have to say 3 sections, right? And let us say I'm just showing you, like, so let us say in my first section I got, say, only 1 employee. Just assume like that, right? So if I got only 1 employee, what I have to do is click on the section, right? So just click on the section. Let's expand this, right? Okay, in that section, let me click table view sections. So when I click on the section, right, over here, you see it says how many rows it has. So for example, if I have only 1 employee, even before that, the header, see the header, let us say if it's to categorize all the employees starting first name with capital A or letter A, then that is, I would say, the section A, right? Then let us say there are only 1 employees, just assume in the database, right? So I just make that into 1. Then click on the second section. Let us say this is based on letter C. Let us say there are 3 employees. And let us say the next one is based on letter J, right? Let's say letter J. And let us say there are only 2 employees, right? But remember, as I said, you can make this dynamic, guys, right? Awesome, right? Wonderful, right? Number of rows. And then once again, now looking at this, now I can see I got section A, right? Awesome. Then in section A, these are the cells. I got one. So, but I got 1 row. But let us say I want to give the styles once again, right? So select on the table view cell and say, okay, I want, let us say, write detail as earlier, right? Just I'm giving example. You can give any style you want, right? And now you can immediately give the title. But in this case, I'm simulating that I got some employees, say Anne Marcus, for example, right? I'm just giving example, right? Oh, okay, some name, guys, right? Just a name, right? San Jolene, right? Something like that. Okay, some name. It can be any name, right? Doesn't matter. And say also, let us say on this cell, I want to give the accessories, right? Let's say I want to give that disclosure indicator, so the user understand, see that user can click, that's a detail, to get more details about Anne, right? Something like that. To get more details about Anne. Let's be fast now, right? So let's do the same thing now for the others. Like, let's go for this next section. Let's click on it, right? Then that's the first cell. So let's say write detail, accessory, disclosure indicator, and let's say this is Colin Marks, right? Something like that, right? Some name, right? Colin Marks or something, right? The detail. Let's say there are a couple of other employees. So just click on the second table view cell. Once again, give the style. But keep in mind, now I'm doing it 1 by 1. Now you might ask, you might question, do you have to do it like this 1 by 1, right? The answer is, if you are doing like this statically, yes, you will have to do 1 by 1. But if you are doing it dynamically, using, say, you want to fill this with the data from a database table, then you don't have to do it one by one. There's a way to do it automated using code. We will show you in our next videos, right, about this. So for now, because it's static, yes, you do it like this one by one, right? If not, you can do it programmatically and automate it based on the data, right? Awesome. Awesome, right? That's how you do it in a real program, right? In a simple app, you might do it statically like this, but in a complex app where the data is coming from a database, you will not do it like this. You will do it programmatically, right? Let's show it in the next videos. Write detail, right? Once again, next one also fast, right? Write detail and very quick. Accessory disclosure indicator, right? Accessory, guys, disclosure indicator, and let's give some name starting from C. Let us say Kathy, right? Let's say right, few names, guys, right? And let's say let us name starting from letter J. Style, right? Detail, accessories, indicator, next cell, right? Detail, accessory, disclosure indicator. Let's say this is John Philip. Let's say this is James. Right, some name, guys, right? Awesome, right? Awesome. Okay, let's look at this now, right? So I got the stuff, I got the basics, right? I got it. Now let me do like this. Now I don't really need this extra thing, right? So I'm going to delete this, guys, right? So I don't want it, so let me take it away. What I want to do now is, guys, to connect this, right? When I click on employee details, I want to load this new table view controller. So simple as earlier, you click on employee details, make sure it's a table view cell you are clicking, and then control drag, right, guys? Control drag it to this new one and just say show. It will create a storyboard segue. Awesome, my friends. Awesome, right? Wonderful, right? And now let's say when you click on each of these details, right? I say Anne, say you want to load details about Anne. Say if you click Colin, you want to load the details of Colin. So what should I do for that, guys? Now, because I'm doing it statically, right, without any dynamic data, for now, I'm going to copy and make copies of this, guys. So let's say, let me copy it, right? And let's put a different color as well, right? So let's say I want some different color, right? Just up to you. Make sure you put some nice color codings, right? Just copy this, right? Because to get the same features, I would say, right? Copy it and just make a copy of it, paste, right? So just paste it, right? Awesome. And then let's say I want to place one here and the other one here, right? Just all static, guys, right? And then what I want to do is, so when I click on say the first employee, Anne, I want to connect Anne to display her more details, right? So same like earlier, click on the tell, make sure that you are clicking the right table view cell by clicking here, and then control drag it, right, and say show. Awesome. It's awesome. Can you see that you get that navigation bar? Why is it? Because you have embed the whole thing in a navigation controller. So when you're in a navigation controller, right, and when you click item, if you push it, it gets that navigation bar, right? It goes details. So look at our previous lesson on multiple UI for this concept of this navigation bar and stuff like that. Awesome, awesome, right? Then next thing, right? Next thing is when I click on the next employee, Colin, make sure you click it. I want to load this page, right? Awesome, right? You are learning a lot of things, guys. See it work, right? Let's see things in action now, right? So let's run this, my friends. Okay, so let's run. Let's see what's happening, right? You should see something really nice, significant, right? And then later we can program this to be dynamic, right? Okay, my friends, things are happening fast, right? Okay, see, you got that right detail. Now the user can understand as if he has to click here to get more details about employee options. There are some icons given here, images. Awesome, guys. These are the main options. Click on it. Wow, right? It's happening, my friends. It's happening, right? Wonderful, wonderful, right? So, are you happy, right? Just asking from you, right? I'm pretty sure you should be happy, guys, right? Just um, simple, but looks nice, right? And then when I click on the details of Anne, awesome, it takes me to that screen, right? When I click on Colin, it goes to that. But when I click on Kathy, it doesn't go because I didn't link it, right? Now let's put some details for Anne, and let's put some details for Colin, guys, right? Are you ready for that? Yes, right? So let's move forward now. Let's do a few things.